The sky above Earth turned dark without warning. At first, people thought it was a solar eclipse, but it wasn't the moon. It was something worse. Dozens of enormous alien warships appeared in orbit over 80 vessels, shaped like burning daggers, covering Earth's skies from New York to Shanghai. They came in silence. Then Earth's satellites vanished, one by one. Internet failed. GPS collapsed. Military comms went dark. Air traffic froze. Within minutes, the world was blind. The voice from space, then a signal came loud, cold, translated into every major human language. A deep voice echoed from every screen, radio, and emergency frequency. We are the Narcothi Empire. Your kind has expanded without permission. You have reached beyond your limits. You have 1 hour to surrender, or we begin the purge. The speaker identified himself as Supreme Lord Crexon. He didn't threaten, he promised. Panic begins in the streets. Fear spread like fire. People screamed. Some ran, others froze in shock. Social media collapsed. News stations fell silent. World leaders disappeared from public view. Some said it was the end. Some begged for mercy. Others whispered, "Why isn't Earth responding?" But Earth was responding, just not in the way the enemy expected. Deep underground, level 14 miles beneath the Rocky Mountains, past sealed bunkers and forgotten corridors, a cold steel door opened for the first time in 70 years. Inside, a man in a black uniform entered. His name was Commander Shaw, a veteran of Earth's shadow programs. He approached a circular command table. Around it sat 6 silent figures. No generals, no politicians. Just watchers. Commander Shaw spoke. It started. 79 capital ships. They hit every satellite net, every global relay. Surface response is paralyzed. They're using terror tactics. An older woman with gray eyes looked at him. How long until they fire? Shah checked the glowing map on the table. They gave us 1 hour, but they've already deployed scouts over major cities. Another figure spoke, voice calm as stone. Then we don't wait. Begin countermeasure. Ragnarok. What is Ragnarok? On the surface, nobody had ever heard of it. Not the military, not the press, not even Earth's allies in space. Because Ragnarok wasn't built for diplomacy. It wasn't a program of defense. It was a final line, a system never meant to be used until now. With a single encrypted command, 6 hidden Terran bases came online across the planet. Submerged satellites reactivated. Railgun platforms on the moon powered up. Old defense codes long buried under ice lit up again. And at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, something massive stirred. Supreme Lord Crexon watches from his throne aboard the flagship Blackfang. Crexon stared at Earth's surface. The blue planet spun beneath him, calm and helpless. His officers stood behind him, quiet, smug. Still no response. Crexon asked, "No, Supreme Lord. Their systems are collapsing. Their fleets are outdated. Signs of resistance." Crexon leaned back. "Primitive, weak. We strike in 50 minutes. Begin planetary heat scans. Eliminate their capital zones. First Washington, Beijing, New Moscow." Suddenly, one of the alien officers paused. "Sir, one Terran beacon just went active. Deep signal, Earth-based." "It's old." Crexon raised an eye. "Old?" "Yes, Supreme Lord. Pre-interstellar code. Marked Ragnarok class. High encryption." Crexon laughed. "They named their desperation. How poetic. Earth begins to wake in Antarctica, deep beneath the ice." Giant vault doors opened. Inside, Project Black Glass, a Terran supercomputer hidden for 100 years, powered up. It didn't speak. It just began calculating strike patterns. In silence. In orbit, what appeared to be space junk started moving. Tiny black drones the size of briefcases, long dormant. They were Earth's blind swarm, and they had one job: tag every hostile wait hit when ordered. People on Earth still wait to the common man. It looked like Earth had fallen. TVs were blank, phones were dead. Only fear remained. But those below the surface, they weren't afraid. Commander Shaw stepped into Earth's black war room and looked at the live feed. Target locks were green, satkill paths were cleared. He turned to the room. "Let them fire first. Then we turn the sky to ash." A technician whispered, "Sir, the people won't know we're doing anything." Shaw replied, "They don't need to know. They only need to survive." Final 5 minutes on board Black Fang. Crexon stood with a cruel smile. 1 minute until purge. A silence fell. Then a comms officer spoke, confused. "Supreme Lord, something strange." "What?" "We're getting ... interference. Our orbital scans are jammed." "How?" "From below. Earth-based, direct, precise." Another voice shouted, "Sir, one of our outer ship's blade spear just exploded." Then another then another. Within 18 seconds, 5 Narcothi ships vanished from the fleet without a shot fired. Crexon's smile faded. "What is happening?" The final line. Deep underground, a Terran AI finished its calculations. The voice of Project Blackglass spoke. "Targets locked. All blind swarm drones in position. Authorization confirmed." Commander Shaw gave the order, "Execute Ragnarok." Screen fades to black. A final voice is heard. "They thought Earth would break, but Earth doesn't break. It builds in silence, and then it burns." The invasion didn't begin with soldiers, it began with screams. Alien dropships, black sharp, insect-like, descended over Earth's major cities. They moved through the clouds without heat, without sound, and they landed in civilian zones, not military bases, not missile sites, schools, hospitals, markets. The Narcothi Empire believed fear was the best weapon. They were wrong. New Delhi, Sector 9, hundreds of people had gathered at the central plaza, hoping to get transport to evacuation shelters. Above them, the sky opened. A Narcothi dropship hovered down, massive, silent. Children clung to their mothers. Fathers shielded their families. No one carried weapons then. The ship's side opened. 6 armored aliens stepped out, laughing. Their armor was dark red, covered in spikes. They looked around the terrified crowd like hunters at a zoo. One of them activated a translation device. He spoke loud and proud. Your leaders left you to die. So now you will entertain us. Then, he pointed his weapon. But Earth was watching. What the invaders didn't know was this: they were not alone. For every drop of blood they spilled, Earth had already marked them. In orbit, the blind swarm drones tagged their location. Underground, Earth's AI noted every movement, and in the shadows, Earth's hidden forces were already in place. Inside a school in Nairobi, an other alien team entered an elementary school. No resistance, just silence, they joked, mocked. One of them touched a drawing on the wall. It showed Earth, with stars above it and a small note written by a child. Earth is strong. The alien sneered. He raised his plasma weapon, and then a gunshot. Clean, sharp, perfect. The alien dropped instantly. No scream, no struggle. The others turned, confused. A second shot. Another invader fell. Then a voice crackled in their cums, but it was human. You touched the wrong planet. Operation Red Veil. In less than 3 minutes. 18 Terran Special Forces units launched from hidden underground bunkers across 7 continents. No logos, no broadcasts, just clean, fast elimination. Buenos Aires, a Narcothi officer walked into a shopping center with 6 soldiers. Only one walked out. His helmet was broken, his arm was missing. He collapsed in the street, shaking when his commander asked what happened. The officer whispered, "They were everywhere. We didn't see them, they saw us." On board the flagship, Black Fang Supreme Lord Crexon received his first bad report. 2 squads wiped out in New Delhi, 1 in Nairobi, 3 more missing in South America. Crexon frowned. No military targets in those areas. We struck civilians. The alien admiral hesitated. That's the problem. The civilians fought back. Humanity's silence ends for 90 minutes. Earth said nothing, no messages, no negotiation, only defense. Then every Narcothi screen from orbit to the surface flashed to life. A human general appeared, face scarred, voice calm, eyes like fire. "This is Earth Command. We offered peace through silence. You answered with murder. Now you will learn what happens when Earth stops holding back." Sudden death in the skies without warning. Every Narcothi dropship in civilian zones exploded simultaneously. Not one Terran bomb had been fired. The dropships had been hijacked from within. Their own systems turned against them. One alien screamed into comms, "They're inside our code. They're inside our ships." Then came the message above Earth. Satellites that were supposedly destroyed blinked back online. They transmitted only one signal. Everywhere, just a line of Terran text. "You struck first. Now you learn why we never strike last." Final scene. The smile back in New Delhi, where it all began. A young Terran child named Sana stood next to her father in the ruined plaza. The air was filled with smoke, but the sky was clearing. Sana looked up and smiled. A damaged Narcothi recon drone, still hovering and recording, saw her. The image of that smiling child was the last thing it ever sent before crashing and burning. Supreme Lord Crexon stood on the bridge of his flagship, Black Fang. His golden armor reflected the pulsing red warning lights. Below him, Earth spun, still quiet, still dangerous. Crexon's face, once full of pride, now showed cracks of confusion. "Tell me again," he said, voice low. The alien officer stammered. We lost 42 ground teams, all across the planet, not to their armies, to shadows. We didn't even see them coming." Crexon turned away from the window. So Earth plays dirty. But what Crexon didn't know was this: Earth hadn't started playing yet. Above, the dark side of the Mona patch of space shimmered like heat rising from asphalt. It wasn't a visual trick, it was the cloak of a Terran vessel, one so advanced, no alien sensor could detect it. No light, no radio, no signal. It drifted silently behind the Narcothi fleet. This was the TSV Revenant, a stealth dreadnought believed to be a myth. Even most of Earth's own military didn't know it existed. Inside its dark bridge, the crew moved without speaking. Only one voice broke the silence: Admiral Rena Cade. She stared at a holographic map of Crexon's fleet. "Mark targets. Stay dark. Fire on my word." A tech officer replied, "Ma'am, these ships outgun us 10 to 1. Cade didn't flinch. "Then we'll need to hit harder." Terran Ghost Fleet, Project Wraithlin. 20 more Terran vessels, uncloaked briefly, just enough to reposition. They surrounded Crexon's rear guard silently, like wolves closing on prey. Each one bore the same nameplate, Wraithline Unit, Nitrogen Monoxide, Light Nitrogen Monoxide Sound, Nitrogen Monoxide, MRC. Weaths weren't standard warships. They were purpose-built killers, designed for ambush warfare in hostile sectors Crexon had never encountered anything like them because no one ever survived long enough to report. Aboard the Black Fang, Crexon stared at the reports that something was wrong. Ships from the rear of his fleet were going dark. No explosions, no distress calls, just silence. "What is happening to my ships?" A science officer checked his instruments. "Sir, I think the Earth fleet is inside our formation." Crexon's eyes widened. "That's impossible." But it wasn't. First, Strike TSTV Revenant opened fire. Not with missiles or lasers, but with compressed rail rounds. Silent, invisible death at near light speed. 2. Narcothi Command. Cruisers exploded before their crews even heard the impact. Another ship lost its bridge in a single hit. No Terran ship was visible. No Terran name was broadcast. Only wreckage remained. Terran broadcast first words in orbit across all Narcothi comes. A single message was received. Mailvoice.com/chilling. You entered orbit. You fired on civilians. Now orbit belongs to us. A second later, Earth's moon-based cannons activated weapons no alien had ever seen before. Solar rail arrays. Focused magnetic wave strikes. The moon wasn't just a rock, it was a hidden fortress. Chaos in the fleet. Crexon screamed. Retreat, scatter, and regroup. Find their positions. But the Narcothi fleet couldn't retreat. Every time a ship moved, it became a target. The cloaked Terran ships had locked onto their exhaust patterns. Within minutes, 12 more vessels were destroyed. Another 7 were disabled, left spinning. Broken engines cut in half. Panic spread among Narcothi ranks. "They're everywhere. I can't see them. Where are the Terrans?" A whisper ran through the fleet. "We never should have come." Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Shaw watched the orbital feed from deep below Colorado. A young officer turned to him. "Sir, they're falling back. Should we finish them?" Shaw shook his head. "Not yet. Let them breathe. Let them wonder if the next second is their last." The feed showed dozens of Narcothi ships trying to flee toward the dark side of the planet. Shaw leaned in close to the screen. "That was our silence. Now let's show them our voice." Terran reinforcements arrive out beyond Mars orbit. Earth's long-range fleet jumped in. Massive carriers, Hunter-class destroyers, AI-commanded vessels. The lead ship was the TSV Lions, Rathirth's oldest and most feared warship. Its front cannons turned toward the crippled Narcothi ships. Its captain gave no warning. He simply said, "Remember Earth," and fired. Back on the Black Fang, only 8 ships now remained around. Crexon's flagship, the once mighty armada, had been reduced to wrecks, corpses, and sparks. Crexon fell into his throne. They were supposed to be weak. The Narcothi admiral beside him whispered, "Sir, the humans didn't break. They've been waiting." Final scene from above. Earth still looked quiet, but above the clouds, ships with no nation, no color, and no fear began to move forward. For the first time in the galaxy's history, that humans weren't defending. Far beyond Earth, in the deep reaches of space, the Narcothi Empire's homeworld received the emergency signal, encrypted, urgent, marked red. "Earth is not as expected. Fleet compromised. We request full reinforcement. Coordinates, Sol System, Priority Alpha." The High Council read the report with confusion. Earth, that small planet with one sun. What threat? But Supreme Lord Crexon's personal code was attached, so they obeyed. And they launched 3 full battle groups, 312 ships, 20 dreadnoughts, 5 command carriers. This force was enough to conquer entire systems. Their goal, crush Earth, end this insult. But they didn't. No, Earth had already seen them coming. 1 week later, deep space, 72 hours from Earth, reinforcements moved fast, confident. Commander Verex of the carrier Judgment of Flame stood tall at the command deck. "We'll arrive in Earth orbit within 3 rotations. I want to see this so-called human resistance up close." A young officer interrupted. "Sir, we just lost contact with the scout ship Silencer. It was ahead by 4 hours. Verex frowned. "Equipment glitch." The officer paused. "Maybe, but now we've lost 4 more. Shadow in the stars." What the Empire didn't understand was this. Earth wasn't just defending anymore. It had sent its hunters ahead. Terran Ghost unit ships, so quiet, so fast, and so deadly that even their own fleet couldn't track them. And they weren't coming to warn. They were coming to erase ambush at Neptune's Ejas. The Narcothi fleet passed the orbit of Neptune. The stars shifted slightly. Not the stars like reflective Terran minds. Too small to detect, too fast to dodge, and they were waiting for something big enough to pass. The moment the lead dreadnought moved into range, 18 silent mines detonated in a calculated pattern, not explosive, but disruptive. Every engine in the forward group shut down. Communications failed. Within seconds, ships were floating corpses. Earth's whispered message across the remaining fleet. A low human voice echoed through static. "Your gods cannot save you here. You entered the system of wolves, and you are prey." Panic spreads. One Narcothi cruiser tried to fire. Its weapon exploded in its barrel. Another spun sideways, its navigation hacked. A command ship blinked. then vanished from every screen. No debris. Just gone. In orbit of Earth, Crexon watches. In silence, Supreme Lord Crexon was still alive, weakened, hiding aboard the Black Fang. In low orbit, far from Earth's military range, he watched the incoming reinforcement fleet's status screen. Green, 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 then red, 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 then black. What does black mean? He asked. The officer beside him whispered, it means, we don't know. They didn't die. They just disappeared. Inside Earth's command bunker, code Ravenlight beneath the surface of Alaska. Inside a bunker known only as Code Ravenlight, Commander Shaw stood before Earth's War Council, spoke simply. Phase 1 complete. Enemy reinforcements neutralized. No survivors. One council member asked, and the Narcothi, do they understand? Shaw smiled faintly. No, but they will. Galactic silence across the galaxy. Allied and rival species watched the live data feed with growing fear. Everyone expected Earth to fall, but instead, Earth was winning. Quietly, efficiently, brutally. The Valkyrie Archives, one of the galaxy's largest knowledge hubs, updated their planetary danger rating EARTH Red Class. Extreme threat, do not engage without council. APPROVL back in the wreckage, a message left behind out near the broken ships above Neptune. A lone probe drifted. Terran stealth ships had left it behind intentionally. It broadcast one thing, repeating every 5 seconds. You were warned. You did not listen. Next time, we won't stop. Final scene. The nightmare begins aboard the Black Fang. Crexon paced alone, furious, terrified. Where is our power, our fleet, our revenge? No answer. He turned to the stars, still seeing Earth beneath him, untouched, burning bright blue. And then his ship's lights flickered. He turned slowly. A human voice came through the internal speaker, calm, familiar. You're not alone anymore, Crexon. His blood ran cold. We're already inside. The space was supposed to be safe for command ships. In war, there were rules even among empires. No direct attacks on flagships. No biological infiltration. No targeting families of leaders. But Earth had seen those rules ignored. The moment the Narcothi Empire fired on civilians, Earth made a decision. There are no more rules. And what came next was something the galaxy wasn't ready for. Aboard the Black Fang, Crexon's final stand, Supreme Lord Crexon had sealed the inner levels of his flagship. He trusted no one now. Most of his officers were dead or missing. His fleet had been reduced to ashes. Reinforcements had vanished in deep space. But somehow, his lights kept flickering. His ship's gravity shifted now and then. Doors opened by themselves, and strange slow sounds echoed in the halls. Then came a whisper over the intercom. We warned you. Earth's infiltrators. The Ash Squad. They were called many names. Ghosts, phantoms, demons. But to Earth's command, they were simply Ash. The squad, a team of elite Terran operatives trained for one thing: enter enemy ships, leave no witnesses. Using advanced teleportation tech, unstable, experimental, and banned by the Galactic Accord, they boarded enemy vessels mid-combat. No alarms, no warnings, no chance. Operation Scorch Veil begins from a hidden Terran outpost orbiting Venus. 5 teleport gates activated, each one synced with a different Narcothi warship in orbit. A team of 6 humans stepped into each gate, cloaked, silent, armed with neural disruptors and AI-paired combat suits. Their job: take the bridge, kill the signal, leave a message. Ship number 1, Blade of Dawn. The Narcothi crew never even saw them by the time they noticed strange movements in the shadows. 3 of their officers were already gone. The captain screamed, intruders. But no intruder appeared on sensors. The only thing left on the main screen was a Terran message. This is the price of your arrogance. Then the ship's core overloaded and imploded. Ship number 2, Iron Spear. 2 Marines reached the control center within 40 seconds of teleporting. One stayed behind. The other went to the reactor room. They disabled the failsafes, turned off the oxygen, and left. The ship drifted, empty. Not a single shot fired. The galaxy watches in horror. The attack was recorded. 1 Narcothi vessel still functioning near Earth. They picked up strange patterned ships simply stopping, dying. They transmitted footage to distant allies. Now the galaxy saw Earth doing the unthinkable. Boarding ships, turning off life support, burning bridges, literally and figuratively. The Galactic Council met in panic. One leader said, Earth has crossed the line. Another replied, Earth didn't cross it, we pushed them over it. Crexon's last day, the Black Fang was no longer a warship, it was a tomb. Crexon sat in darkness, his comms failed. His weapons were offline, and outside his window, Earth hung silently, watching. Suddenly a door creaked open behind him. Crexon turned. Footsteps, slow, heavy. A single human soldier stepped into view, black armor, glowing red visor. Crexon stood, voice trembling. I am Supreme Lord Crexon. You cannot touch me. The Terran soldier didn't speak. Instead, he raised a small device and pressed one button. A soft click. Then a calm voice echoed in Crexon's throne room. You struck first. You murdered children. Now the last voice you hear is Earth's. Second later, the flagship imploded, vanishing into silent wreckage. One final broadcast from Earth across space. Earth sent a single message to the Narcothi homeworld: your fleet is gone. Your leaders are silent. We are not conquerors, we warned you. This is what happens when you test the patience of our species. But Earth wasn't finished. Deep in the Terran war room, Commander Shaw stood before the Rathline fleet map. He stared at remaining Narcothi colonies across nearby systems. We gave them every chance. He turned to Admiral Rena Cade. Are the ghost fleets ready? She nodded, waiting for orders. Shaw gave the command. Begin Phase 3. Make sure no Narcothi world forgets who we are. Final scene. In a faraway star system, a small colony on the edge of Narcothi space, peaceful, distant, full of civilians, received a strange signal. It was old, pre-warp, human. They played it aloud in the central square. It was a child's voice, a recording. This is Earth. We like peace. We like stars. But if you try to hurt us, we hurt back. Suddenly, the sky above them cracked open. Terran stealth cruisers appeared. Silent, black, massive dot. No weapons were fired. But every Narcothi citizen understood. You are no longer safe. Not from Earth. The war should have ended. The Narc Empire was broken. Its fleets were destroyed. Its leader was dead, and its colonies had gone silent, too afraid to respond. But Earth didn't stop, because Earth had changed. It wasn't just defending anymore, it was erasing threats, and the galaxy finally realized Earth had no more patience. The Galactic Council. Emergency summit inside the Great Marble Chamber of the Galactic Council on Dalrune Prime. 500 species met for an emergency vote. They had ignored Earth before, mocked it, tolerated it. But now, they feared it. Holograms displayed footage of Terran shadow fleets, exploding command ships, and invisible soldiers moving through Narcothi stations like ghosts. Ambassador Varel of the Zathan Collective spoke first. We must stop this. Earth has gone too far. Others agreed. Even former Earth allies. One asked, if Earth can do this to an empire, what can it do to the rest of us? A message sent to Earth. The Council sent a diplomatic packet carefully worded. We recognize your losses. We acknowledge your strength, but please withdraw your fleets. Let peace return. It was broadcast. On every open channel. They waited. Minutes, hours, then a single message returned. From Earth's short final no. Inside Earth's war room, the voice of steel. Commander Shaw stood at the central table, the Terran flag behind him. His voice was cold. The Council watched our children die. The Council called us overreactive when our cities burned. Now they want peace. Let them feel the weight of our silence. The Council sends a fleet in a desperate move. The Galactic Council assembled a peacekeeping armada, 200 ships, non-lethal, marked with white paint and blue banners. They entered Sol system, unarmed. Their goal, pressure Earth into standing down, but they never made it past Saturn. Earth's response, one ship, just one Terran vessel appeared. Small, old, unimpressive. TSV Emberfall. The Council fleet tried to hail it, no reply. Instead, the Emberfall launched a pulse wave, not deadly, but precise. Every ship in the peacekeeping armada suddenly lost navigation, weapons, and shields. They simply floated, blind, deaf, and paralyzed. Then a message from the Emberfall appeared. You entered our system without permission. This is mercy. Next time we won't be merciful. Fear spreads across the stars, across every inhabited world. Rumors grew. Earth has weapons no one can see. They speak with silence and kill with whispers. Their children smile, and ships die. In bars, in spaceports, in backroom markets, people stopped laughing at humans. Now, they whispered when they said the name, Earth. But one council race didn't listen. The Threx Dominion had stayed neutral. Now, seeing Earth exhausted, they saw opportunity. Their High Warlord gave a speech. Earth is weak from war. If we strike now, we can take what's left. So they sent a test fleet. Just 12 ships. Fast, quiet, meant to probe and scare. They didn't make it past Pluto. The Pluto Protocol. Earth had predicted this. A hidden defense array, buried deep inside Pluto's crust, activated. No energy signature, no sound. The 12 Threx ships turned toward Earth, and turned to dust. The final message to make sure no one misunderstood. Earth sent a transmission across the galaxy. Every major species received it. A human voice.com/kind. Even we are not your enemy. But if you threaten us again, you will not be remembered. You will be removed. Inside the council chambers, panic ambassadors screamed. They controlled the void. They fight like monsters. We should have listened. The council voted on a last hope, a formal treaty, naming Earth an independent, untouchable system. It passed unanimously. Earth's reply: nothing. They didn't need to speak. The war was over, but the galaxy would never forget what happened when they pushed Earth too far. Final scene, a child on Earth in a quiet city park. A small girl named Lyra played near a lake. A drone hovered above, observing for an alien science ship in orbit. The drone captured one moment. Lyra picked a flower, smiled. The AI inside the drone processed this, and flagged one entry. Warning: human detected. Smile indicates confidence. Confidence level equals planetary threat. The drone deactivated. And crashed, just like the first one had. The war was over, but Earth never said the words. No treaties, no announcements, no celebrations, just silence, and that silence spread like fire through the stars, across hundreds of systems. The message was clear: do not test Earth again, but The galaxy didn't fear Earth's weapons anymore. Now they feared its stillness on planet Draxos' abandonment. Begins Draxos was once a Narcathi military stronghold. Now empty, its people packed up their cities and left. Its leaders burned archives, fearing Earth might see them as a future threat. One merchant asked aloud, "Why are we running?" "Earth is light years away," the governor replied quietly. That's what Crexon said. Now his bones orbit in silence. They didn't argue, they just boarded the ships and fled. Across the galaxy, a shift in power. The mighty Yavari Union, once rulers of trade routes, rerouted all ships away from soul space. The Renel Syndicate shut down 3 black market stations. They erased every file that mentioned Project Shadow Earth. Even pirate groups and afraid of death stopped entering human territory. "There's no loot worth dying for," one pirate growled. Meanwhile on Earth, normal life resumes back on Earth. Cities returned to life. Children played. Again, shops reopened. The news no longer mentioned war, but far below the bunkers, shipyards, and dark intelligence halls, Earth remained alert. They had learned one thing: we don't get second chances. The Ghost Fleet's new mission, the Wraithline ships, didn't power down. Instead, they were sent farther deep into uncharted space. Earth was hunting future threats before they were born. In one case, a Terran scout ship intercepted a coded message between 2 unknown empires. "The humans are distracted now. We can strike in 5 cycles." The message never reached its destination. Both empires lost their main satellites in what they believed was a cosmic accident. They never spoke of humans again. The council cracks inside the Galactic Council. The silence was becoming unbearable. They tried sending more messages to Earth, peace offers, trade invitations, science missions. None were answered. Council Speaker Veril said it clearly: "Earth has become the axis. The rest of us now orbit around their silence." A dangerous idea forms, but not everyone accepted this fate. In a hidden meeting on the outer moon of Jura 6, a group of 11 species gathered. They called themselves the Silent Pact. That their goal: prepare for the next time Earth moves. One of their scientists stood and said, "We cannot beat them in war. But what if we dig deeper than they've gone? What if we find what they fear?" A plan was set. They would search the deep void, places humans hadn't touched, and there, they found something. The old signet at the edge of a dying star. In Sector 19F, a strange signal repeated every 11 hours. It wasn't natural. It wasn't machine-made, and it wasn't human. The Silent Pact listened closer. A translator AI decoded. Fragments: "We see, Earth, we remember, we hunger." The message ended with 3 words burned into the data: "Do not awaken." But the Pact was desperate. Curious, they pinged the signal. That's when something answered. Earth knew first. Back on Earth, every defense satellite blinked at once. Something had changed in the fabric of deep space. Inside Code Ravenlight, alarms activated for the first time in months. Commander Shaw rushed to the deep threat board. A red dot flashed in Sector 19F. "How did they find that sector?" he whispered. Behind him, an old AI voice spoke. "They triggered the old sleepers." Shaw stared at the red flashing screen. He whispered to himself, "So it begins." Final scene. One last broadcast across all of Earth's colonies. A short emergency message appeared. Only 3 words. No panic, no fear, just preparation. DEFCON, Black Rising. And once again, Earth didn't explain. It just vanished from view, cloaked, armed, watching, because whatever was coming now wasn't from the galaxy Earth had conquered. It was older, deeper, and worse. And once again, Earth would stand alone. The galaxy was quiet. Not from peace, not from surrender, but from fear. The Narcathi Empire had been crushed, the Council silenced, and Earth stood unchallenged. Until the Silent Pact made a mistake. They reached into the dark corners of the universe and pulled something out. They didn't understand it, but Earth did. Antarctica Vault Echelon 0, buried deep beneath 10 kilometers of frozen ice. A vault, opened it, had been sealed for over 100 years. Inside a single room, 1 chair, 1 screen, 1 capsule. A message appeared on the monitor. Warning: sleeper signal triggered. Project Nemesis activation required. Commander Shaw arrived with a team of black-suit Terran command. He read the message and sighed. "I prayed we'd never see this day." Back in space, the first sleeper moves in Sector 19F, near the dead star. Something stirred. No ships, no hulls, just shadows, wrapped in gravity. It didn't move like any species. It didn't broadcast. It simply drifted toward life. Every system it passed went silent. One of the Silent Pact's scout ships sent a final message before vanishing. "It doesn't fly. It consumes. It's not a ship, it's a memory." Earth broadcasts again for the first time in weeks. Earth sent a transmission to every star system. "To those who poke the void, you have awoken the old ones. We do not have the luxury of mercy anymore. Earth is activating its last defense. Run if you can." Project Nemesis, humanity's last monster, hidden in Vault Echelon 0. The capsule opened. Steam hissed. Inside was not a soldier, not a machine. It was a hybrid, the result of failed experiments. AI evolution, an ancient war DNA. Eyes like black holes, skin like shadow armor, and no heartbeat because it didn't need one. Subject awake. The AI confirmed. Command, defend Earth. The creature stood, spoke only once. I remember them. They ended my world. Now I end them. The stars shake as the sleeper entity approached the nearest system. Stars around it dimmered, not physically, but biologically. Animals screamed. Machines broke. Even sensors stopped working. One scientist in the council whispered, "It's like the universe is afraid. Earth's plan. Strike first, then burn it all." Commander Shaw looked at the full map. When he knew Earth's armies couldn't stop this thing, not with guns, so Earth deployed its last trick. Quantum fracture bombs, banned by every known species. These didn't destroy planets, they unwrote them. Shaw gave the command. Deploy Nemesis with full fracture support. We don't aim to win. We aim to erase the battlefield. The battle no one saw in Sector 19F. The two forces met, the sleeper, and the thing Earth had built to stop it. No lights, no missiles, no explosions, just static waves of broken data flooded. Every listening system, Terran ships monitoring the fight went offline one by one. And then silence, then the light returned from the edge of the star system. Earth's final probe rebooted. The darkness was gone. The sleeper was no longer drifting. Its body, or memory, was shattered, but so was Nemesis. Its final transmission was one line. Earth, it's done. Then nothing. The galaxy holds its breath. When the council asked Earth what happened, they received no answer, no proof, no footage. Only rumors. The monster Earth built fought the monster they awoke. One report claimed a Terran ship passed by the area and saw space stitched back together, like torn cloth slowly healing. Another claimed to hear voices in the static. Earth remembers, Earth protects, Earth forgets nothing. Earth's final broadcast 3 weeks later. Earth sent one final message. No threats, no orders, just truth. We were forced into war. We finished it. Let this be the last time any species awakens what should sleep. Earth is not your enemy, but if you return us to darkness, we will end you again. Final scene: a child on Earth in the same city. Park Lyra, the little Terran girl, stood at a flowerbed. She looked up at the sky blue, quiet, peaceful. Her father walked over and asked, "Do you feel it's over?" Lyra just smiled. For now, behind them, above Earth's orbit, of cloaked ships remained, waiting, watching, because Earth had learned one thing. Asterisk, victory isn't peace. Peace is just a pause. Asterisk,